I'm Steven Wilson, and this is Peacock Pulse. In this week's edition of Peacock Pulse, we'll break down the Upper Iowa football team's road to Minnesota as they battle the Warriors of Winona State in Verizon Wireless Stadium on Saturday at 6 p.m. We'll catch up with safety Jordan Andera, and we'll ask him about his interception last week against UMary and what it'll take to get a win against the Warriors this weekend. But first, let's catch up with Orr Vaughton, the defensive coordinator for the Peacocks. We're joined today with assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the Peacock football team, Orr Vaughton. Coach, thanks for joining us, and let's start off by talking about the system that you run here and the defensive scheme that you've brought in over the past couple of years. What has worked, what hasn't, and then what you've done specifically this season.
Okay. The system that we brought in is kind of a compilation of a lot of things. I've been a defensive coordinator for many, many years. Back in the 80s, ran a 5-2 defense. Some of the concepts there with run fits and pass concepts and so forth still remains the same after all those years of doing this. And then we've worked with a 4-3 defense like the one at Iowa State. We've worked with a 3-3 defense back at Northwestern. I had a couple of good defensive coordinators that brought that stuff in, and what we have here is a compilation of all that, quite honestly. And what we've gone to this year is we've gone to a 3-down defensive look. We've got more linebackers, more defensive backs on the field, and what we've got is we've got faster players on the field. And so what we're seeing this year is a result of having more players with more speed and being able to make up some distances on some of the ball carriers.
The defense has played well this season, held 3 of its 4 opponents to 17 points or less. What have you seen from your team this year compared to years past?
Well, really a better understanding of what they're doing defensively, an understanding of run fits, an understanding of pass concepts. The coverages that we run are the same. We really haven't changed those, but the guys understand them better. We can make some easy tweaks on the sideline during games, and they understand what we're doing. We're seeing guys playing faster, more confident, not hesitating in their reads, not hesitating in where they're supposed to go. So that's just having guys in the same system now for 3 years is a big improvement and a big help to them as players.
Now, Coach, you got a big win this past Saturday, 36-7 over the University of Mary. Had a couple of big plays defensively, a couple of interceptions, that blocked field goal. Talk about what you saw from your defense and what part of your defense really stepped up.
Yeah, well, confidence. The guys, all 11 of them, 15 of them, we played a lot of different guys in there. Coach Wyatt does a great job rotating the defensive linemen. And we've got a lot of guys with reps in there. We've got a couple extra linebackers. Actually, all the linebackers played, but some of it was late in the game. Defensive backs did a nice job. So really, as a whole, the entire group did well. Like you mentioned, the interceptions in the end zone, the block field goal attempt, those are defensive backs making those plays. We had defensive linemen making sacks and tackles for loss. We had linebackers with some pretty big hits, a couple of hurries on quarterbacks, and tackles in the passing game and the run game as well. Linebackers did a great job of seeing the open holes and stuff. I mean, they really didn't have much. Mary didn't have much in terms of the run game. So really, there's a lot of guys you can look at in that Mary game, going back to the Northern State game as well, that they're just starting to click and starting to mesh.
And then looking ahead to this week, we have Winona State on Saturday at 6 p.m. at their house.
Right.
It's their homecoming week. Have any of the guys talked about ruining their homecoming week, and what are you predicting for that game?
I really haven't heard anything from the guys about homecoming yet. Quite honestly, I don't know if any would pay attention. I don't. I didn't know that, I guess. But the thing is, we're going to Winona, and they're a tremendously good opponent. They were in a bowl game last year. The team last year was. And we're just looking forward to going to Winona and playing another quality opponent. You know, they're like a Duluth in terms of great tradition, super coaching staff. They've been there a long time. Players at good size guys all the way across the line, and in the backfield, receivers are good. So, you know, what we're looking for is we're looking for an outstanding game of just going playing another quality opponent and testing our mettle.
And then a couple of the players specifically have done well this season. I know you've had them for quite a while. Jordan Endera at the safety position, and then Ethan Douglas at the middle linebacker spot. What have you seen from them over the last couple of years?
Yeah, we've had an opportunity to work with these guys now. You know, guys like Ethan and Jordan and Tom Nesbitt, those guys were guys that came in and were thrown in as true freshmen and had to start. And it was tough for them. We came in then that next spring as a defensive staff, and we've been with them now for 3 years. So we've watched these guys develop from true sophomores now to the seniors that they are. And you know, Jordan and Ethan are just tremendous leaders out there on the field. Athletically, they can get the job done. Ethan Douglas is a big hitter. He does a great job with taking on anybody. It doesn't matter the size, and he'll be a big hitter in the tackles and getting off blocks and that sort of thing. And Jordan just does a good job of patrolling the defensive secondary. You know, he had the interception, one of the interceptions in the end zone on Saturday, and has done a good job with being where he needs to be for the most part.
Yeah. Not too many mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Those are reduced.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you're expecting for Saturday's game and what your defensive game plan is against Winona, and what you're trying to take away from their offense.
Well, Winona does a lot of things well. They've got a good, solid passing game, largely play action, and what they like to do is they like to go up top right away. Would not surprise us on homecoming day that they come out on play number 1 and throw the ball deep. A little play action pass, try to hit us on a 75, 80-yard pass play on play number 1. Will not surprise us. We're kind of thinking that with them. That's really their passing game, quite honestly. It's a vertical passing game. They're trying to beat you downfield. They do it with some play action pass look in the backfield. Their run game is a solid run game. It's really a power run game. A lot of pulls with their linemen. Get wing backs and fullbacks involved in that as well. They got their tailbacks are not big guys like they've had in the past, but they're really, really quick. Yeah. And I think the running back had 240 some yards in their last game against Winona State. So a good bunch there. So well-balanced offensive team. And what we need to do is we just need to be disciplined in our keys. We need to be disciplined in what we're doing as a team, be able to play team defense, minimize the big plays, and control the run game.
Coach, thank you and good luck this weekend. Last year's game against Winona State was a 45-42 shootout here in Fayette. Now Coach Orvatten and the Peacocks will take their game up to Winona. That game is scheduled for 6 p.m. on Saturday night. You can listen to the game here in Fayette on AM 950 KOEL, or you can log on to uprioathletics.com. Whoa! So Jordan, talk to me a little bit about what it's like playing for the Upper Iowa Peacocks.
I love it here. I always have. This year especially. It's just a great group of guys, fun team. I think I've always thought this in the past 4 years that our team has to be just the best group of guys, because you know you couldn't ask for better people, better teammates. Our coaches have always said it, and that was the first thing that we tried to do here is bring in good people. And this year we're a good football team, so it feels great.
You've been a starter here for 4 years. What has your progression been like over that time?
It's been a learning progression. You know, I came in, I played quarterback in high school. It was a whole different mentality coming and playing defense. It felt like a different game at first, but really it's been about becoming a leader and knowing my position and my role on a team.
And then obviously a big win for you guys against the University of Mary this past Saturday. You had an interception in the end zone. Walk us through the win and what it was like to get that big emotional lift at home.
It was one of the most emotional games I've played in, and it was just a lot of fun. I think the weather made it special. You know, rain coming down sideways. You couldn't have played out any better. We were hitting on defense, clicking on all cylinders on offense, just playing as a team and having fun. You know, bringing it back to what it's really about. and just having a blast playing football, and that's what we did on Saturday, and it made us win big, so I felt good.
I mentioned the interception. You got in the end zone. Walk us through that play and what you saw.
I was playing what we call wall coverage on number 2. They're second to the outside receiver, and I got to his inside, forced him over the top and trying to force him out of bounds, and I turned and the ball came right to me. It's one of those things I joke with some of my defensive teammates about, that you never have that practice of catching a ball in a game with just the intensity in the crowd, and when the ball comes, it goes in slow motion. It's kind of surreal. I wish I had more practice in my career, but it's just a great feeling, especially at that point in the game. Kind of get on the bus and go home type of play that I really love to have. So.
Is it getting easier getting those interceptions, or is it getting harder?
I don't know if it gets easier. Yeah, it's always the same excitement. It's not like a nervous thing. It's just it's exciting. You want those plays to happen, and when they finally do, it's just you're overjoyed. So it feels good.
You're a senior leader this year. What does that mean to you, and how much do you try and bring that attitude to the game?
I've always tried to be a leader since my freshman year, and the older you get, it becomes easier. The better you play, it becomes easier. So to have had success last year, and to be a senior on this team, it makes being a leader easier. And I like to be a leader. I like to try to set an example for the younger guys, and but that's all about people being good teammates and wanting to be led, and that's the kind of team we have this year.
And then talk about your matchup this week against Winona State. Obviously, a very good offense that you're going up against, and a quality program over the last couple of years. This year, they're a little bit down, though, 2-2 coming in, and you guys actually have the advantage in the record books.
Yeah, we do. I don't think we take that too seriously, though. We know that they're a very good opponent. They've maybe had a rough start. They had their quarterback hurt, and in my opinion, their freshman backup is the best quarterback on their team. We're preparing to play the best team that we've played this year, and I really feel that it is the best team we will play for quite some time. So great offense. We haven't faced a good rushing offense this year, in my opinion, and this will be a good rushing offense. So it's something that we need to take seriously and prepare for, and play well. Be that physical defense on Saturday to have it in.
Obviously, you're playing against a good back. You just mentioned him. He rushed for 242 yards last week in the win for Winona. So this week, how do you bring that physical presence, and how do you come up and stuff the run?
Well, he's a very good back, very speedy back, and their line moves well side to side, and they get upfield. They play, some would call it dirty, but they're a physical team. They like to grab on, they like to drive, they like to take people to the ground, and that's the kind of defense that we like to be, as a physical defense. I would like to say I'm a physical player, but I get a lot of my physicality from the people ahead of me. There's from our defensive line to our linebackers. Douglas in particular is just a hell of a player, and he hits like no one I've ever seen. So having those people on a team really makes us that physical unit, and I think we're going to be the more physical team on Saturday, and that's going to be the key in the game for me. But I expect it to be a game of emotion, and who can play with that emotion. It's going to be, I believe, their homecoming night game, and I think that really, some people would say, oh, that's negative for us, but that's just a great atmosphere, and every good player likes to play in a great atmosphere. And we're excited to play football on Saturday.
Thank you, and good luck.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That'll do it for us here at Peacock Pulse. Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter by searching for the handle @UIU Peacocks. Until next time, I'm Stephen Wilson saying so long.